I curled up in the bag and tried to breathe normally. Had I intended this all along? That was a terrible, spectacular thing, to do. I pushed my hair out of my face and opened my eyes again. I was alone in the sleeping bag, alone in the tent. Well, I guess I'll take a shower, I said to no one. I fumbled around for my clothes. I rolled onto my back and slid my soiled panties up my legs over my matted pubic hair. A twinge. It was tender. There was no shower. There was just the lake. Steeling myself, I unzipped the tent flap and poked my head out. Richard was nowhere in sight. As if I could somehow vanish from all that wilderness, I tucked my arms over my chest and tried to shrink myself down as small as possible. I scrambled into my tent, grabbed my things, and then, poking my head out of my own tent, I didn't see him anywhere, dashed down to the lake. We didn't, I muttered to myself as I stripped off my clothes. No. Everything is just the way it was. We're kind of flirty with each other, but it's fine. There's no way he, or I, or Becky would ever let that happen, I continued, stepping into the water. And then I shrieked, because the lake was very, very cold. And damn it, the first thing I thought of was how nice it would be to take a warm shower with him. When I returned from bathing in the lake, he was sitting at the campfire with his back to me, cooking breakfast. Breakfast was eggs and some sausage, with the coffee already ready. I smiled, despite my anxiety. Normally I'm not a big eater first thing in the morning, but I was hungry that day. Maybe it was Yosemite. Maybe it was the rigorous fucking I'd received last night. By Becky's father. I crossed my eyes and lifted them to the sky. What was I going to say? How could I say anything? This is awful, I thought. Well, not the fuck, per se. The fuck had been splendid. No, I reminded myself. No, it was naughty and bad. At length, I gave up arguing with myself. I coughed to let him know I was there. Richard turned on the log he was sitting on and saw me standing in the dirt path behind him. The look on his face was... I'm not sure. I'd never seen him make that face before.
"Are you okay?"
he said. Okay? Was I okay? You fucked me like a lion, and I want more right here, right now, I thought. I want you to build us a treehouse and live here for the summer. I sighed and trudged the rest of the way up the path. Yes, I said. I flung my towel over the branch he'd used for his own towel and sat down on the far side of the fire across from him. I looked at our campsite and realized he'd already packed everything away. You didn't have to do that, I said.
"It's all right,"
he said.
"I didn't know how long you'd be."
Didn't know how long I'd be washing your cum off my skin, I thought. I felt my heart deep in my stomach. And yet there he sat, on the other side of the fire, the eggs almost ready in the pan. Look, I started, and I couldn't help but notice the lean muscle of his chest through his shirt and the deep shadows of his biceps under the tree's canopy.
"If you'd like,"
he said,
"I can put another dressing on your leg. How does it look this morning?"
I pulled the sleeve of my shorts up and showed him the thin scrapes. The scratches were red, but they had healthy scabs growing. He nodded at them.
"If we were home, I'd say it would be fine to leave it, but out here, I'd prefer to put another dressing on it with some ointment."
He looked quickly at my face and looked away.
"But that depends."
On?
"Well, if you want to stay."
I gazed again over the packed camp. The thought of us spending more time up here together after last night? What were we supposed to do? I wasn't sure, but then the breeze blew, cool from the lake, and the trees rustled and the leaves shivered over our drying towels. The sun felt good on my skin, and once I'd gotten used to it, it had felt even better when I was bathing that morning. I'm not sorry about last night, I heard myself say. He looked genuinely surprised.
Oh,
His brow creased.
I was afraid I'd hurt you.
I had to laugh, but that seemed to make him more nervous. I covered my mouth and shook my head. No, Richard, I want you. I rather fancy you, you big dumb man. That is, you... Hey, is that breakfast?